Hi, my name is Brian Troop. I'm the superintendent at Ephrata Area School District. I'm in my 11th year in this position. When I first learned about A Better Way Athletics, I had a little bit of anger because why didn't I think of this? As a former athlete, as a former coach, as a former principal, a lot of my world was about developing humans, helping to serve others and make them better versions of themselves. When I think about the opportunities that we like to provide our students at Ephrata and how much we value the extracurricular world and what we can do to develop the skills, not just the content knowledge, but the skills and dispositions that are valued in life. How did we go this long without trying to align the parents, the coaches, and the student athletes all under the athletic director? How did we not think about the importance of alignment of values, beliefs, judgment, perspective? As a parent, you can't know what the coach is thinking. You can't know what it feels like to be that athlete. Even if you were in that sport as an athlete, that's a different human being that you're raising, and they have their own thoughts and they need to be valued. So how do we get everyone who cares about that student athlete's well-being, not just their athletic performance, but their well-being as a growing young man or woman? How do we get the people who care the most about them on the same page? We kind of think that that's happening, but it was a blind spot. When we got a chance to start getting our coaches some experience and inviting some parents in to kind of look at the way they could respond in situations and consider what the coach is responding in situations, and then both deal with what the student athlete's experiencing in those situations, that just elevates the success rate. When I think about the costs associated with the Better Way Athletics, it's almost a no-brainer from my perspective. And there's two real reasons why. The first one, I've been a superintendent for 11 years. I was a district office administrator over top of our high school and middle school for a couple years before that. And I can't think of one year when I did not have at least one, probably 3 or 4 issues that came out of student interactions under the supervision of coaches, something that happened at a game, something that ended up with being a personnel matter. It involved lots of investigation time, the turbulence for our parents and miscommunication and hurt us in our reputation within our community among some groups. There has never been a year in my 11 years plus 2 or 3 more as assistant soup where I wasn't spending time in an investigation, looking into situations, interviewing all those involved, along with my high school principal, my athletic director, and the rest of administration. So if I could avoid or cut them in half by eliminating what I see as the main obstacle, the misalignment of what parents expect from programs and what our coaches are providing, that misalignment causes a lot of those issues. So if I can eliminate 1 or 2 of those every year, the cost of the program, of the education, easily pays for itself. We want improved extracurricular programs. We think extracurricular programs are some of the things that keep our kids in school, probably the best opportunity to teach some of the highly valued skills and dispositions, more so than even in the classroom, because it's such a real life, authentic experience for kids. It's a playground for life. Everything, there's adversity, there's success, there's mistrust, there's trust, there's hard work and dedication and the results that come from that. But yet we only have about 30% of our population involved in those extracurriculars, in athletics in particular. So if we can expand those programs, because the programs are better run, more aligned with our expectations, they're more positive experience for students, parents, and our coaches, we can expand the involvement in our extracurriculars. With involvement in any extracurricular comes an increased level of belonging. That's a whole nother group, another team, another community that they're a part of. And we know how important belonging is for all of our students, for all their well-being, their mental health, how they're interacting, how high they set goals for themselves. All these things are impacted by belonging. And we think the strength of having extracurricular programs that expand, that invite more, that are magnetic, those programs are going to help us support the well-being and mental health of our students as well. That's an easy expense to write off. You can't expect your coaches, your band directors to read your mind. And if you're not a district that elevates its mission or that has clear goals for what it wants from its extracurriculars or what it believes is the role of extracurricular activities in serving students, maybe that's a good place to start. But we're not going to counsel our way out of the situation we're in as a school district. That the manpower is not there to do that. I think we can culture our way out of this situation by just making sure that we're giving all the belonging cues, using names, making eye contact. So bringing that back to like the extracurricular programming and everything that we invest, those are key groups, environments, families that they can belong to that are working towards a common goal. And we're a big believer in the presence and expanded presence of extracurriculars. The more kids we can get involved in our programs, those are more kids that we can immunize from some of the deficits of despair and when things go wrong, some of that that stairwell of despair that kids fall down when things go wrong. And we can kind of slow that negative spiral, if you will, by surrounding them when they're part of a team. They're not alone anymore. They feel like they have people that they can communicate with, and they're protected. They have the kind of like the full membership rights of everyone on that team. We have coaches who are teachers, who are part of our faculty and highly invested and are leaders among our employees. And then we have coaches who are coming from outside, and their only interaction with the district is coaching an assistant coach on that cross country team, or assistant coach or assistant band director. They have just a very small window. So making sure that everyone who's a part of that group shares in that identity, not just in the identity like, hey, we're a part of this district. We serve a role within this district. We're contributing to the end goal for all kids for the district. So bringing them in, regardless of their position, into that organization in a way their voice is heard, valued, that they're respected, that they're valued in what they're providing for our kids, and that they are a part of every kid that walks across that stage and enters into the world as equipped for life as we can, knowing that maybe they served what they think is a very small role. They could have impacted kids in ways that we'll never know, that are impossible to measure. Elevating that reality in conversation with coaches on a regular basis, that's the only way that I know of to really make sure that they understand that, and that they see themselves as members of that coaching community, of serving a role that's super important in preparing kids for the challenges they'll experience in life. We don't have to learn from mistakes over and over every time we hire a new coach. We can benefit from that, and we can start with educating them and bringing them into the conversation as soon as they're identified, and before they even start interacting with the parents, before they even start setting up practice structure, before they start trying to develop a culture on their team. And I would suspect most superintendents, I'm probably not an outlier in that reality, that when I talk with other superintendents, it's not something that we do a great job of. We're geared to hire teachers, hire administrators, train them. There's requirements, like all that's so scripted, so meticulous. But in extracurriculars, I think that's an opportunity that we haven't really looked at in the same way. See what the culture of a team is like when all parents have gone through a set series of these that aligns with what the coach is elevating for that season. I can't imagine how powerful that would be, because as a former student athlete, there were times when my parents are feeling one way about what was going on. My coaches had some different thoughts, or maybe weren't even thinking that closely about me as one of many athletes on the team. Didn't see it at the time, but in retrospect, there was misalignment in expectations, and that always causes turbulence, and it makes it hard on everyone, especially the student athlete.